In this video, we'll demonstrate how to install Ubuntu Linux on a Dell PowerEdge server. For this demonstration, our server has a BOSS S2 card with a RAID 1 virtual disk already created for the install target. We'll be connecting remotely using the iDRAC's virtual console feature. The Ubuntu server ISO image has already been attached using the virtual media feature. The remote file share feature in the iDRAC is another option for providing the ISO image with a remote install. Please reference the KB article in the description for additional boot options. Please note that only Ubuntu Server Edition is validated for Dell PowerEdge servers. For a list of supported versions, please reference the Ubuntu LTS support matrix at linux.dell.com. From the bootloader for the Ubuntu Server ISO, we'll just take the default option for Install Ubuntu Server. Note that there is an option for install using an HWE kernel. This hardware enablement option uses a newer kernel that adds support for newer hardware devices. However, it does have a more rapid update cycle. In most cases, the default kernel is recommended. Once the installer finishes its boot process, we'll start off with language and keyboard selection. Here we'll choose the default Ubuntu server option for installation type. Third-party drivers are not typically required for install. For the network configuration, the installer will attempt to acquire a DHCP address for each connected interface. You can, of course, modify this configuration as needed, such as setting a static IP or creating a bond. Please reference the KB article in the description for additional network configuration options. If a proxy server is required to reach the internet, that information can be added here. Otherwise, leave it blank. This step will attempt to connect to the default Ubuntu repository for latest package updates and installation tool. Even if installing in an isolated network environment, it's best to let this check finish before continuing on. Please note the selected disk in the storage configuration screen. The Ubuntu installer will overwrite whatever data is already on the selected device, so make sure it's pointed to the correct storage target. If necessary, use the down arrow or tab key to select the device and hit enter to see other storage targets if the default selection is not correct. Refer to the KB article in the description for advanced options under custom storage layout. On the next page, you'll see a summary of the partitions and volumes it plans to create. In this example, we are applying a default partition scheme with /boot and /boot/EFI as separate partitions and an LVM logical volume for the root file system. Here we will have to select Continue to confirm the change is about to be made. The Ubuntu installer does not set a password for the root user, so we should create a regular user and assign a password here. We'll also assign a hostname on the same screen. This page gives us an option to enable an Ubuntu Pro subscription if purchased. Otherwise, just choose the default option of skip for now. This page allows you to check the option to install and enable OpenSSH server. If there is a pre-configured SSH key required, it can be imported as well. Enabling SSH for easier remote access is generally recommended unless there is a specific requirement to have it turned off. If there are any Snap applications required, they can be selected here. Otherwise, it's okay to leave these unchecked and select Done. The OS install begins and shows the install log as it progresses. Keep an eye out for the top part of the screen where it'll eventually show installation complete. At the bottom, you can choose to review the full log if needed. The installation is now complete. After selecting Reboot Now, you'll be prompted to hit Enter to continue after removing the install media. If using a USB flash drive attached locally, remove it from the server at this time. This concludes our video. Thank you for watching.